Welcome viewers, Reverend Dr. Jason W. Morrison, theologist, Central Coast, New South Wales, Australia. As you know, I've been helping people with emotional incest issues. I'm up with the bikes today. I was just speaking to a gentleman amongst the bikes there, and he was saying that he'd met a lady. She had a couple of kids to different men, an older daughter, an older son, 25-year-old son. And the 25-year-old son wasn't living with them at the time. They bought a house. They were renovating the house. The daughter lived with them, no problems there. There was a younger son. He was getting bullied at school. The gentleman sorted that out for her, fixed all that up. And then something happened with the 25-year-old, and he had to come and live with them at the house. Now, this is exactly what happened to me. He said it was he said it was right on the 2-year mark, which is when they can claim against you. So this boy moves in, and he said the marriage was over in 6 weeks. The relationship was over in 6 weeks. Now, this is becoming a culture where women are meeting these men. They're leaving the older children on the outside, and then after a 2-year period or so, they're bringing the children in to disrupt the relationship and then make a claim on the person's property. He said it cost him a couple of $100,000 or more than a couple of $100,000. And you can't protect yourself from this stuff, because you go into a relationship and you just want to have a sensible bloody relationship, and you can't, because these women's children who aren't your DNA make it too difficult deliberately make it difficult for the mother and the man that she's with. The problem is the mother will not speak up against or pull into line these bastardized mummy's boy males. Now, I just split up the woman that I tried to have a relationship with for 2 years. There's a helicopter. Because a 25-year-old brat, and you'd never pick it from the outside, couldn't stand his mother getting attention from another man. The fact of the matter was, he complained that I was taking his mother's attention away from him. A mummy's boy, a classic mummy's boy. And it was a shame, because it was a fair relationship. I wouldn't say it was the best one I've ever had, but we could have made something of it. But you won't be able to. Because if these people have got children that have no boundaries, that are in emotional incest with their parents, and the parents are the ones that create it, then you will pay. They will wreck the relationship. Now, am I trying to attack people or make things exaggerated? No, I'm just trying to warn people. Emotional incest is real. It will work against you. It will cost you a lot of money. And the woman will go with the DNA. Just split up one, as I said, never ever heard from her again. The kid that this 25-year-old mummy's boy, golden child, she idolized it. And he was useless. He was so full of himself, it was disgraceful. And they're mummy's boys, serial dependent on their parents. I passed him the other day on an exercise walk and he looked like that absolute crap, smoking his head off. You know, they're just grubs, but they will contribute to the demise of your hard work. So there you go, another man. Just ran into him on the bike. Just speaking to him. Taken out via a covert emotional incestual relationship between a mother and a 25-year-old grub. This is called covert emotional incest awareness. It's really important. It's essential for men, particularly, to understand how it works. The mothers will not go against their DNA, and that's not the point. All these women have to do is put up boundaries, but they don't want to, because their security and their emotional attachment is with the child, the adult child, and they wreck their lives. They wreck their children's lives, they wreck their own lives, and they'll wreck your life if you'll let them get in deep enough. They got no conscience, although the woman that I was married to that I kicked out, her and her lazy ass son, I kicked them out, lost the marriage, or give up the marriage. I didn't want it. She cried for 3 months straight and used to sit at the waterfront watching me exercise. There was no way I wanted any more to do with it. Emotional incest, it's destructive, it's intrusive, it ruins what could be wonderful relationships, and it's spiritual. It's not just a decision. It becomes a formation to these people. It becomes a part of their life and their security and their identity, and everything about them is locked down into the enmeshment, the emotional incestual enmeshment that comes along with the formation of it. The parent will hand over their authority to the children will become the parent. There's so many different twisted things that happen. The children become jealous of the mother with a partner, and if the mother doesn't set up boundaries straight away, you've got to get out. In my last relationship, she would not put boundaries in place. I couldn't even visit her at her place. And my people are going, what is wrong with this woman? Because not many people know about emotional incest. Well, I told them, I've gone, this woman idolises this bloke like you would not believe. Absolutely idolises him like he's Jesus Christ. But he's not. He was just a drug addict. Her son, a drug addict. So you've got to be really careful. Look at that big thing. Look at that big thing there. You know, it's concerning. I've been helping people all over the world now that have contacted me due to my videos. You've got to immediately, once you identify emotional incest with these people and you start getting gang stalked, you have to up boundaries. You know she's going to go against you. She'll just keep turning up, getting what she can from the relationship while she's emotionally attached, and her emotional situation is in residence with the children, the adult children. You will not get an emotional supply from this person. You will not get anything decent out of the relationship. Anything decent from the relationship. Mix up there with parking, because the woman's emotional, be it what is supposed to be reserved for her relationship, is attached and in residence with the enmeshment with the child. She'll make the child the therapist, she'll make the child the counsellor, she'll make the child the parent, yet on the same hand, she will have to supply financially for the child. She'll supply housing, she'll supply the drugs and the alcohol or whatever other things are necessary, and you'll get no normality out of the relationship at all. She'll just turn up for as long as you're happy for her to, or be it a man, can work in the way with a man. I've only experienced it with women, and she'll just turn up in a way in which she can, for as long as you'll tolerate the dysfunction. It's destructive, it's harmful, it will destroy you, it will leave you with CP, or just PTSD, and you'll waste years of your life. And if you get too close to these people and they get too close to your assets, they'll bring in the grub to cause a separation, and you'll lose assets as well. So you've got to be very careful who you choose and who you get mixed up with, because these people are educated, they know what they're doing, they know what it's about, and this is what can happen. A lot of these people are severely medicated, they are recreational drug users, they will consume alcohol if it suits. I do know some of these women won't have alcohol because of what they've experienced with men, and I've brought no trouble to these women at all. None. But I've seen the destruction that these women can do with their children, and they will not hesitate, because the DNA bond is much stronger and more potent than the bond that you'll have with this person. You're an outsider, and you'll be treated as such, particularly by the child, who will go straight to work to undermine who you are, what you stand for. What you're trying to do and how you're trying to build a relationship, it will be undermined by the covert emotional incest. That's all there is to it. How it works. So, good day. This is Reverend Dr. J.W. Morrison, theologist, Central Coast, New South Wales. I'm not against people, and I love my woman, whoever I'm with at the time, if they don't wreck it. But I do stand against very firmly and want to bring an awareness to and of emotional incest, because it's destroying men, and it's destroying men at the sufferance of these women and their bastardized children, and it can work father-daughter as well, which I've spoken about in other videos. Reverend Dr. J.W. Morris, Intelligist. Bye for now.